I was I was walking in this a few days back. I had a morning walk with someone, and the person said that, see, I was very angry with the government after demonetization, and the person said, see, he explained his position to me. He said, I am from the Sangh, I support the RSS, I've been a BJP voter. But when demonetization happened, I was very angry with the government because I felt that they have let down their own constituency, because everybody had a family member, this person told me that my mother had 2 lakh rupees, and in cash. So for very personal reasons, we got upset. But now he told me that when on the morning walk, he said that when I see that my mother is doing all her transactions on a UPI device, and we have a completely cashless digital economy, then I feel that my anger was misplaced. So I think sometimes we react as people. Mr. Gurumurthy, there are people who always look at the negative story, negative side, and we have many people like that. I look at, let me be direct with you, sir. I find Mr. Raghuram Rajan baffling to me because, I'll give my view, sir. I know you're on the board of RBI, you will not speak of individuals, but I find it baffling that he was very much there in the RBI when all the NPAs happened, and now he cribs about the NPAs. Regardless of that, I find that now they say, for example, I'll mention 2 individuals. Raghuram Rajan says, there's trouble ahead for India. He's finding trouble in everything. Mr. Arvind Subramaniam recently, he says that, oh yeah, good that Apple is investing in India, but we are not sure whether this will be sustainable, he says. Because there are many reasons why Apple's investment in India may be a one-odd thing, And of course, the usual suspects in the media pick that up and raise a question about cynicism. We are steamrolling ahead. And I think we should look at the positive story. And on the political side, let me tell you how people speak. I'm just talking about the cynic side. We have Rahul Gandhi, who every morning gets up and says, we must be very careful about China. China will do something big, and he says our soldiers are getting beaten at the border, which is such a wrong thing to say. Then Mr. Chidambaram says, you don't worry, the economy will fall. He says it before the budget and after the budget every time. I want a very clear answer. You may not refer to the individuals, you may if you wish. How should we deal with cynicism? And how should we deal with these doomsday prophets who are around us nowadays? Mr. Gurumurthy.
See, basically these responses come from not neutral minds. So you must classify Raghuram Rajan as an opposition party man. Then you understand what he speaks is easily understandable. I don't think anybody should be responding to Rahul Gandhi, because he says he is a new Rajiv Gandhi. The old Rajiv Gandhi is 8 years, 10 years, he was being projected as Prime Minister and he has been killed. That means even he feels that his past was a burden. Whether his future is a promise or not, he has to prove. That your past is a burden, you have admitted. Whether your future is going to be a promise or not, you have to prove. Then only we can consider Rahul Gandhi's opinion as something to be responded to and relevant. So far as Raghuram Rajan is concerned, I must tell you one thing. He once made an honest statement that the entire NPA is a creation of the UPA rule. But having said that,
true, sir.
How did he walk with Rahul Gandhi, and what pride Rahul Gandhi in walking with a man who said NPA was created by UPA? I cannot understand that. Because they believe that the people forget so easily. A new picture will obliterate the old facts. That's not the case. None of this looks credible, actually. If Apple is coming to India, it is not because it is cheaper to make the phone in India. It is safer to make it.
Fantastic.
The entire idea of...
Fantastic.
The entire idea of cheaper supply chains has been finished.
Yes.
from cheap source to safe source is the shift in the world. So that is why economics is also changing. Because safety is long-term cheapness. So we need not have to worry about it. If India is sought after by the West, it is in its own interest. They need to develop India, they need to strengthen India in every sense of the term. Otherwise, the West is not secure. Do you mean to say otherwise they are going to tolerate the position we have taken in Ukraine?
They don't have
They
an
said,
option.
no, we understand your compulsions, you have your traditional relationships, we know about all this, we are disappointed, but do you expect a superpower like America to talk like this to us? Things have changed. Permutation combinations have changed. Balance of power has shifted. So, India is in an advantageous position, but India will not misuse that position.
Fantastic.
The greatest guarantee the world has about India, that it will not be an immoral country.
That's true. That's true.
That guarantee our civilization gives. So I'm not worried about the media or some of these people saying snide remarks here and there. Our journey will continue. That's why I said I again endorse what Ratan Tata said. We have another 25 years, very, very highly interesting period ahead. This is the kind of time that we have been hoping for.
So my next two questions related to that are on how Indian businesses, Indian corporates, you've been in for decades a corporate advisor, a corporate crisis manager, everything in the past. How should we adapt to this change? And I link it to what is happening around the world. Sir, after the Cold War, America felt that the world was theirs. What you said, liberal democracy. And in fact, I think Francis Fukuyama wrote this book saying the end of history as we know it. And now even he was so sure that what had been achieved was this final state of history.
Yes.
Where America and liberal democracy will rule the world for the next 1,000 years.
Hegelian perspective.
It's a Hegelian perspective. So while there was a Marxist perspective, this was the opposite perspective. And I found it interesting. I saw Francis Fukuyama, I heard him recently, disowning his own idea. He says, no. I didn't mean history in the way it was interpreted in the name of my book. I meant some other form of history. So today, when even a Fukuyama is forced to disown his arrogance of 30 years back, so we are entering a new phase of history. How should Indian companies, Indian business persons, Indian company owners, Indian startups approach their perspective to how they run their companies? And I'm telling you this, sir, because 15, 20 years back, everybody felt, globalization. Everybody read Thomas Friedman, everybody wanted to be a globalist. Thomas Friedman isn't that popular anymore. So world has changed. So my question is that everybody had this American perspective to how they want to run the business. Every Indian startup wanted to be a copycat model of a Silicon Valley startup in their lifestyle, in the food, in the way they behave, in the antics they do in their office. So everybody had this, we have to be cool perspective and have a basketball court right in the middle of their organizations. So I'm asking you from a cultural ethos perspective, what is your advice while the world is changing to how Indian corporates should run and operate their business and their business environments?
You see, the Indian corporates, I have a long association with them. I have seen them from inside, I have fought them. None of them believed in the Western model of doing business. They were only acting the Western model of doing business.
Amazing.
They always promoted loyalty, though they will be talking about hire and fire, professionalism and all that. The closest and the most critical employees at any level, right down to the driver and peon, they will be having only loyal people. So the Indian mind never accepted the Western model of management or doing business. But of course, if you want some KPMG and others to come and look at your office, that you must have some presentation model. So my feeling is the Indian business is essentially Indian. And when India's civilizational stature goes up in the world, they will begin talking about the Indian values, Indian way of doing things. In fact, many of my friends are Marwadi businessmen. I used to think their HR model is the best in the world, because they used to own all the employees. I have seen many Marwadi top, the chairman and all that, going to ordinary clerk's house if there is a problem. This made the whole organization tick to one culture. Every organization had a culture, has a culture. It is not that it is a boarding and lodging culture. So I think time has come. Just Japan did. Japan never believed in iron and fire policy. Even in their promotions, they were very sensitive that they should not promote a junior over a senior, and they must get the senior to endorse that promotion. They are also a very important industrial power. So you have to align your culture to development. You see, without aligning your culture to development at the family level, at the corporate level, at the government level, at the media level, you will never be able to become a global power on your terms. You will become a global power wearing somebody else's dress, which Japan tried. Japan is now thinking how to discard the coats and become Japanese. It's not possible. In the house, they have a different culture. In the office, they have a different culture. Because these are all strategic reformulation of a failed nation, defeated nation to come up. Every nation formulates its strategies. We have also formulated our strategies, our business, but we were not a confident people. Now we are becoming a confident society, confident business people. Our chartered accountants are becoming confident. Our lawyers are becoming confident. Our MBAs are becoming confident. So they can develop their own theories now. So my feeling is, as India rises, the Indian thoughts, Indian models, Indian way of doing things will become a brand for others to follow.